Yo, welcome back to Urban Street 420. I'm your host, 40. Today we're talking about the Unidyn, the BallR cap, and the Green Sapphire Balls, baby. I giggle because I say the word balls and I'm immature anyway. This is not take 1, take 20. I don't know. We had a good take. I went to turn everything off. The wireless receiver was not on, so no audio. So here we go again. Anyways, before we begin, if you haven't seen the review I did on the Dynavap Unidyn, check the link up at the top, right? I assume you know certain things about this device for this video, right? Also, if you're not sure how to change from stainless steel media to green sapphire media, check the link up at the top. I've already made a video on that as well. Now, before we begin, let's talk about why you would want to switch from stainless steel media to green sapphire media. The reality is there's a few reasons. Number one, the green sapphire media has a better flavor profile. So you're going to have a little bit better flavor with the green sapphire media. That being said, I want to give you this analogy. If you're not into wine, and if you're into wine, this won't work, but if you're not into wine, and I gave you a $10 bottle of wine, or I gave you a $500 bottle of wine, you're going to know you like one over the other, but you might not know why, or it might not be as nuanced, all the notes and the flavors and the whatever. And the same thing is true for the sapphire media. If your cannabis palate is not very developed, you'll probably notice that you like it a little better, but you won't know exactly why, or you won't identify all the little flavor notes and subtleties and so forth. That being said, if you use this in the flavor mode in which I'm going to describe, the flavor is so intense and so fantastic. And if you have a developed cannabis palate, you are going to taste some wonderful things with your herb. So next, besides flavor, why would you want to switch from the 3mm stainless steel balls that are in there to the 2mm green sapphires? Well, the 2mm balls and the 3mm balls take up the same space. There's 34 of the 3mm and about 150 of the 2mm. They occupy roughly the same space, so that they have roughly the same amount of thermal mass. That being said, because there's more surface area on the 2mm balls in totality, it's going to provide for a more efficient extraction, right? Beyond that, let's talk about material properties. Green sapphires have better heat retention. So roughly 150% better heat retention than stainless steel media. They also have better thermal conductivity. About 280% better thermal conductivity than stainless steel. Now, mind you, these numbers are not exact, and the only reason for that is there's various grades of stainless steel, and I'm not sure the grade of stainless steel that was used to make this media. That being said, that gives you an idea of the performance difference, right? So let's put that in easier layman terms, right? The sapphire media is going to hold more heat, and it's going to stay hotter longer than the stainless steel balls. That being said, the stainless steel balls are going to heat up faster and cool down faster than the green sapphires. Why does that matter? When you're figuring out how to use this device, that's important because remember, this was calibrated for the 3mm stainless steel balls. So when you're using this with the sapphires, know it takes longer to heat them up, and then once they come to the temperature, you're going to be able to take more hits or bigger hits because it's going to retain that heat through your draw, right? For longer and so forth. Now, so besides that, let's just jump into it. I decided to come up with two different modes. You could vape this thing just the same way you were vaping with stainless steel media with a few minute differences. The reality is, remember, it's going to take a little bit longer for these green sapphires to pull in heat. And so therefore, in your first heat up cycle, if you stop at the second click, you're probably not going to expel any vapor because remember, the click discs are calibrated for those 3mm stainless steel balls. So going past the click is a good idea. That's number one. Number two, going through multiple heat up sessions is a good idea if you want to see visible vapor when it comes to using the 2mm green sapphire balls. That being said, the expert mode, I'm going to show you the flavor mode and expert mode. In the expert mode, we're going to do a preheat with the device, which is going to bring more heat to the balls before the herb even gets in there, and that's going to give us a massive cloud, maybe even a single hit extraction. Now, I say maybe because sometimes I do it a single hit, and sometimes it's a hit and a half or a hit and a quarter or something like that. So let's see how the video goes. But without further ado, let's go ahead and load the device up. I'm going to take the cap off, and I'm not going to open this to show you that the green sapphire is in here, but they are, right? Let's go to the other camera. I'm going to take the herb right here, and let's make like a little mountain. Then we can press down. We'll press down. We'll knock off any excess, right? And we'll put this cap on. Now, let's make sure there's no more excess. Now, in the flavor mode in which I'm going to describe, what the idea behind this is not big clouds, right? I'm saying this to you now. Some people just care about clouds, and if that's the case, then move to the expert or the pro mode that I'm going to show later in the video. But if you're looking for flavor, if you're looking for those subtle nuances, if you're looking for an experience in flavor that is really phenomenal, then do what I'm saying right now. You're going to heat in the center of this. Let's go to the GoPro, right? Now on the cap, if you heat up here, if you heat where my finger is, this is the center, and there are some lines here saying if you heat more up here, it's more convection, more down here, it's more conduction or hybrid. But the reality is, you know, the flame is pretty big. I mean, I just put it in the middle right here. I'm going to do that until I hear 2 clicks. In the flavor mode, after 2 clicks, I'm going to keep rotating it for another 2 seconds in this middle section. After 2 seconds, I'm going to go up to the top section, right? At the top part of the cap. And we're going to heat for another 3 or 4 seconds. At that point, I'm going to take this away, right, from the torch. Now, I'm going to cover the air hole or the air port. Now, mind you, the condenser is fully locked down. And in the review of the Unidyn, like dyslexia, I said it was locked down, but it was really open. I knew it, but anyway, so today it's fully locked down. In order for this to be fully locked down, this needs to be all the way out. When you pull this out, pull it all the way out, put it into the first click. Now the air path is fully locked down, right? We'll reinsert this, turn it slightly, bada bing, bada boom. The air path is fully locked down, and on our first hit, after we do the heat up cycle that I talked about, we cover the hole. We're going to take 2 short puffs to build up a little bit of air passing over the herbs so that when we take our actual hit, we don't waste anything because there's already hot air vaporizing some of the cannabinoids and so forth, right? Let's go through it, and we're going to go through more than one heat cycle. I do have a magnet here, which is a good idea, so that after we decide we're done with this hit, we can put it down, let it come back to temperature, and take our next hit, and go through our next cycle, right? So let's start this up. It's close enough to the mic, you should be able to hear the click. I'll stop talking, and I should take the cap off if we're heating it up. I mean, today's the day, right? I thought we had this video already. Anyways, let's heat this puppy up. There's the first click. There's the second click. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. We're going to the top. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. We're going to take this away. We're going to find the airport. We're going to cover it. 2. Now, I know you saw very little vapor right there, but I promise you, you have not tasted, this taste is ridiculous. If you want to taste what your herb is supposed to taste like, it's supposed to taste like that. It just clicked. We can pick this puppy back up. Let's heat it in the center section. We're spinning this, waiting for the click. After the click, we're going to move up to the top. We're not going to go too much further. There's the click. We're moving up to the top. We're going to go 3 seconds. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. We're going to take this away. We're going to find the airport, cover the airport. Ridiculous. Flavor mode, baby. Now, mind you, you notice in the subsequent heat session, we produced a lot more vapor for something very similar, and that's because, remember, those green sapphires are starting to accumulate heat now. Now, because this is for flavor, I'm going to stop. I think we probably could go through one more heat cycle and still maintain a very similar flavor profile. But let's jump into pro mode, expert mode, God mode. Woo! My neighbors are like, shut the fuck up, right? All right, so glasses went on. I organized the ABV. The camera's here. Let's go ahead and look at it. I put it over the white section of the rolling tray so it's the most obvious. It looks extremely evenly vaped, and it's a very, very light roast. Mind you, again, the purpose of the flavor mode that I just showed you, which is extremely basic. It's super easy. It's mostly about respecting the click, couple seconds pass, and going up with the torch. Then having the condenser fully locked down, which means totally extended, covering that airport. And what you're doing when you cover the airport, by the way, is heat management. When you cover the airport and you inhale, you're building up heat down in the cap, right? When you let this go, you're letting it cool down. Depending on the feedback of the device will determine how much you play with this, right? If you notice you're not producing enough vapor, you could start with a little puff or cover this up and just keep doing it with it covered. That's going to build up a little bit more heat there, right? So again, that comes with practice, some experience, etc. Let's talk about expert, pro, God mode. Let me have a sip of water first, right? All right, so the idea behind the pro mode, the expert mode, the God mode, etc., is to do a preheat cycle with nothing in it, right? So that means running, and I'm going to explain it first before we do it, and I'm also going to talk about a different heating technique for the Unidyn, right? So the first thing that makes this technique special or different or unique is that we're going to heat it with no herb until it has 2 clicks. After 2 clicks, we're going to drop it down on the magnet of the case, right? If you don't have a case with a magnet, you need a magnet. So either a magnet or the case with a magnet, up to you, right? As it's sitting on here, before it clicks or when it's about to click, you can go ahead and take this off. Now that's where the danger comes in, because you're going to use your fingernail to push on this right here and pull this up. And remember, it's still going to be hot, so you could burn yourself. So be careful. First of all, don't do this. But if you were to do it, this is how I do it. And of course, I'm not responsible for any of your actions. Anyway, so you're going to pull this up, you're going to fill this up, and as long as this has clicked once, it doesn't have to click twice. As long as it's clicked once, go ahead and put this back in, right? Now it's got herb, the device is still warm. We're going to go through our second heat cycle. It's going to come to temperature really quickly because remember, the media is hot in there. It only had 1 click to come out of. So that's going to click. As soon as this clicks, I want you to go 2 seconds past the click. Then I want you to pull the lighter away, right? After the 2 seconds, by the way, in the middle, that's all we're doing. After the 2 seconds past the click, pull the lighter away, count 2, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, come back in. Now I want you to take the lighter and I want you to go up and down the whole cap. When I say the whole cap, I mean the whole cap, including the part I said not to heat, right? Now when you're doing this, you're spinning the device, you're going up and down, and you're going to count to 3. After counting to 3, you're going to pull the lighter away. I know some of you are thinking, this is ridiculous. You don't have to do this extravagant or this fancy or this silly or whatever. I mean, try it, right? What have you got to lose? Let's look at this extraction too. I should stop talking, right? And I should not load it because the reality is we got to go through that heat cycle. How many times are you going back and forth? Watch. You're going to see what I'm doing. Also, what's extremely important is the airflow management by covering that air port, right? Again, it's about feedback from the device. If you feel thick vapor, let go of the air port. Again, we have the condenser locked down, the air path locked down. I'm going to go ahead and take the lighter. I'm going to heat this puppy up. I think it's already come out. I feel I should not have touched the cap, but I did. Okay, it's not hot, so we're good to go. So I'm going to light this. Second click, remember. That's when we stop. You could even go slightly plastic click, but it's unnecessary because the idea is that we're getting these balls hot and then we want to let it come back to temp while we're loading this puppy up. There's the first click. There's the second click. Let's go 2 seconds past the click because why not? 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. Now I'm going to take this away. Remember, this is super hot. I'm putting it on top of the battery. I'm going to take this off while it's hot and it's on the battery and I'm listening. This is not on. One of the benefits of that, because this is super hot and we're loading this up, is that this herb is not really touching hot stuff for very long, making this almost totally convection, right? The flavor will be impressive. Watch. So it just clicked, we just filled this up. Let's go ahead and put this back on. After we do, we're gonna grab the lighter. I'm trying, so much to think about. Let's light this puppy up. It's pressed down, it's hot, I shouldn't do that. Ready, 1, 1,000. It's gonna come back to temperature fast, remember, because this device is pretty hot. Just keep clicks to 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. Now we're going up and down, right? 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. And we should have pulled away after that first 2, 1,000. We didn't. This is too much stuff to think about, guys. That's the problem. So we're doing this again. Pull away. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. So I think we are there, right? Find the airport. I mean, the flavor is intense. It's phenomenal. And look at that hit. Now, mind you, I do this way better when I'm not doing this on camera because I'm not talking and I'm thinking. I explained it the way I did it. Did I wait the exact times right now when I was doing it on camera? I'm not positive, right? But again, the idea here, right, is when you heat it up 2 seconds past the click is, remember, they're the Green Sapphires. They need more time anyway, right? Then when you're pulling this away, you're giving it a second because remember, once the temperature starts rising, it's rising like this. When you pull away, you let it breathe for a second. Then we come back and we're going up and down, and now we're heating everything, including where there's going to be some conduction because we do want a little bit more of a boost, because we do want big clouds, etc. Then after that, we give it a second to breathe because we're worried that the temperature is rising like this. And again, even if you decided to stay in the center, you could. You don't have to go up and down and get all fancy, but I do feel like this adds a little je ne sais quoi. Anyways, guys, gals, before you knock it, give it a try. Let's look at this ABV before we call it a day, yo. Oof. Also, by the way, the difference between the two, mind you, this was one hit. I think that there was another hit in there. I needed it a little hotter. I knew that because the device talks to you, right? And I know you're thinking, you're crazy, you're stoned. No, it does, right? When you hit this device, when there is vapor, that feels a certain way, right? Thick vapor feels a certain way. Wispy vapor feels a certain way. The heat of the device feels a certain way. What you're doing when you learn how to use these devices, obviously, is to maintain a certain level of temperature in the cap, right? So that when you take your hits, you vaporize, etc., as the hot air passes over and you get your hit. As you're drawing, obviously that's dropping temperature. So this is a dance with draw speed, leaving heat, etc., etc. Now, you can play with this device to your heart's content, and as you figure out these different techniques, you're going to get different experiences, different highs. Now, you can put this BallR cap on a M7 XL or a Woodwind or whatever, and you could do the same thing that we did in this video. It's amazing how hard this little thing hits. I mean, I forgot to show you the ABV, that I lost my train of thought. Anyways, let's go to the other camera, right? So the ABV from the hit that we just had is right here, and this is the ABV from the earlier hit. You're gonna notice they're both pretty light, but the reality is this video was about flavor. If you're getting a very dark roast, the reality is there's no way that flavor is nuanced and it's showing you all the subtle notes, and that's what we did in this video. Try both of the ways that I showed you, but the reality is the options are endless. It's all about understanding heat management, which comes from your draw speed. It comes from the condenser setting. It comes from your heating techniques, right? And how you breathe in. So once you master that, you can get several different experiences from the same device by changing the techniques that you're using. Anyways, I think we're gonna do a video on advanced draw techniques and heating techniques, I don't know, in the next month or so. The thing is, I have a lot of reviews that I need to get done, so we are doing them soon. Guys, gals, everybody, I appreciate you making it through the 30 plus takes that I did. Wait a second, you guys weren't here for that because you're not gonna see it. But anyways, thank you for being here for this take, right? It's late, right? I'm clapping. Neighbors like, shut. Anyway, guys, gals, everybody, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. You know the deal, man. Woo! Also comment. Anyways, till next time.